Barack Obama has been rallying support for tougher gun controls in the U.S. During a speech at a police academy in Colorado, he urged Congress to pass gun control legislation. He welcomed the state's new arms restrictions, which were passed after 12 people died last summer in a shooting at a cinema.
President Obama is attempting to rally public support for background checks on all gun buyers. Obama is desperate to rejuvenate the stalled gun control measures debate in the US Congress. The president wants several new checks following the killing of 20 children and 6 adults in a school in Connecticut in December.
As soon as next week, every senator will get to vote on whether or not we should require background checks for anyone who wants to purchase a gun. Now some say, well, we already have background checks. And they're right. Over the past 20 years, those background checks have kept more than 2 million dangerous people from buying a gun. But the loopholes that currently exist in the law have allowed way too many criminals and folks who shouldn't be getting guns. It's allowed them to avoid background checks entirely. That makes it harder for law enforcement to do its job. It's not safe. It's not smart. And, by the way, it's not fair to responsible gun owners who are playing by the rules. Now, understand, nobody's talking about creating an entirely new system. We are simply talking about plugging holes, sealing a porous system that isn't working as well as it should. If you want to buy a gun, whether it's from a licensed dealer or a private seller, you should at least have to pass a background check to show you're not a criminal or someone legally prohibited from buying one. And that's just common sense. As soon as next week, every senator will get a chance to vote on a proposal to help strengthen school safety and help people struggling with mental health problems get the treatment that they need. As soon as next week, every senator will get to vote on whether or not we should crack down on folks who buy guns as part of a scheme to arm criminals. That would keep more guns off the streets and out of the hands of people who are intent on doing harm. And it would make life a whole lot easier and safer for the people behind me, police officers. Every senator will get a say on whether or not we should keep weapons of war and high-capacity ammunition magazines that facilitate mass killings off our streets. We knew from the beginning the change wouldn't be easy, and we knew that there would be powerful voices that would do everything they could to run out the clock, change the subject, ignore the majority of the American people. We knew they'd try to make any progress collapse under the weight of fear and frustration, or maybe people would just stop paying attention. The only way this time will be different is if the American people demand that this time it must be different, that this time we must do something to protect our communities and our kids.
It's more than 3 months since the horror of Newtown, when 26 people, including 20 children, were killed by a gunman at a Connecticut primary school. The shooting prompted calls for tougher gun laws, a cause championed by the White House. But with Congress due to debate and maybe vote on new gun controls next week, the prospect of new restrictions seems to be fading. Opposition from Republicans and some Democrats is strong. Gun control advocates have given up their hope of a new assault weapons ban, and even universal background checks could be difficult to pass. But President Obama said Congress should listen to the views of American voters. States like Colorado and Connecticut are passing new gun laws on their own. Barack Obama is the first president for many years to argue so strongly for tougher federal controls. But Congress may decide the issue is too controversial to act upon, despite the pleas of the president.